Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 31st, 2022, at approximately 8:36 p.m. PST. Finally came to the easiest way for me to figure out how to pattern these. So I'm just simply going to look at the heart of the home for on odd days, because basically it boils down to this: one being the starting number, odd days being the first set. I'm going to go with the heart of the home and how to make your home work. And on even days, I'm going to work with the heart of the house, which is where your finances are. So let's get down to business, shall we? First and foremost, in real succinct order, when we're looking at the home, the heart of it is combined in a threefold position: the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. Okay. Now, when you're looking at the home, understand, I came back to this world for this lifetime for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, to remind every entity in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for most people. Now, with this in mind, we have to realize that to start that happening, right now, society has taken a massive turn for the worse. It's taken centuries to get this bad, but it can be turned around. But that's where you come in. And this is why I am asking you for your help to spread this message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, there will be exceptions. There are some people that are just not going to be happy no matter what you do. Okay. But as long as the majority of us are working together, okay, we can make it happen. It all starts with small numbers. The small numbers being what? I'm starting on this end. Okay. And I am working to change the way things are working. Now, from my end, I have finally reached a point where I'm able to start altering things to what I desire. This is not modifying the belongings I have based on what is necessary anymore, so much as what I desire. The thing is, when you look at the energy in your home, okay, if your stress level is high, if you're constantly at odds with each other, okay, you're likely fighting depression. You may be having trouble with diet, okay, like dropping weight. But I will tell you that the reason I bill myself as a spiritual guide is because the tools I offer are the same ones I personally use. Okay, this means that if they apply to me, I'm already using them. And it was this method that has brought me the following. I have now managed to attain peace of mind. Peace of mind, by the way, is done this way. Not by figuring out how to fit in. Not by figuring out how to get people to accept what you're doing. Peace of mind is attained by getting to the point where you realize that you're doing what feels right to you. Now, there's three laws, and they're the only three I'll follow. Okay, and the karmic laws are this: be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. If you follow those three rules, okay, if you pay attention to the laws that you follow, whether they're religious based, whether they're, home based, legal based, or support group based, it doesn't matter. Compare every one of the laws that you follow personally to those three, and I do believe you will find that they fit in, that they all fit together. Okay, this is just the way that reality works, at least from what I've seen. Now, realistically, your thoughts are where it starts, up here in the etheric plane. It comes down. Now, most of the time, people get this idea that it comes into the brain first. And it may well. But here's the thing: you can get this thought in your head and go, this is what I desire to accomplish. But until you get that emotional imperative, that emotional push, all the planning in the world, you'll run into problems left, right, and center. Now, you may be one of the few that actually succeeds without that emotional imperative. But the massive majority of people run into that problem. So what we look at is take a look at what feels right. Now, for me, I figured out a couple of things. Okay, first of all, I found the peace of mind. Oddly enough, yes, I'm touching my charts and my heart chakra. This is where I found the peace of mind, not up here. All the logic in the world had not helped put my head at ease. But the moment I realized that the real big puzzle that you have to deal with is not how other people see you, it's how you see yourself. Okay. When you come to realize that you are the one that has to be happy with you before anybody is going to be happy with you, before anybody else is, that's when you'll start finding the peace of mind. Okay. So I finally attained that, and that was one of the 3 goals that I had when I was a little kid that I honestly didn't think I was ever going to have a prayer of reaching. The first one was easy. I have to get off the planet. Looking back on it, I really probably should have said, don't bring me back. But I'm here. Okay. Then I was looking for peace of mind, and I really figured that one was going to be the one I'd never attain. The third one is going to be a tricky one. That was to see the 22nd century in this body in functionally good shape. Now, the 22nd century means I've got approximately another 78 years that I have to live. Okay, roughly speaking. Now, the nice part there is I've got no intention of quitting before that, but it could be a little tricky. We'll find out. Okay, whether I'm still doing podcast, doing vlogs at that point or not, I don't know. In all fairness, I don't even know if they'll exist at that point. But what I do know is that the time has come to really look in the mirror and ask yourself what you're content with. Are you happy with the way your life is? Are you content with the way it's shaping up? Okay, for me, I am dropping my weight the way I desire it to, so I'm happy about that. My bills are all up to date, and all the one, I've got one bill that people are trying to collect from me, but the fact is I told them not to run it through. And they ran it through, and now they figure I should pay for it. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so with that in mind, at this point, I'm debt-free. Okay, and using the techniques and the methods that I've gained over the years, I can actually show you how to accommodate that. Okay, but when it comes to the heart, when it comes to the energy in your home, I take a look in my living room. Okay, and I've always lived at the bare minimum. Now I'm in a position where I'm literally going to be replacing most of the furniture in my living room. Okay. But I'm going to get the stuff that I desire to get, not because I require it, but because I desire it. Okay, I've already got 6 dining room chairs around my table, but I'm going to be replacing them. They're still perfectly good chairs, but I'm going to be replacing them with oak, primarily because I like oak. It's just that simple. Okay, yes, they are expensive that way, but the reality of it is that's what I desire to have, so that's what I'm going after. In order to be content in this world, find what gets you up in the morning. Find something you're content with. Okay, and take the things you're not content with and start altering those. It starts by getting rid of the clutter in your house. Now, you may be very used to the clutter. You may have all this material stuff. Well, I really want to hang on to that. Like, for instance, I've got a bunch of DVDs that I could hang on to. They were great movies, still are. But in all fairness, I don't watch them. So at this point, why hang on to them? Okay, you've got to look at the same thing. Feng Shui it works very well. Feng Shui is literally the ability to control the direction energy is flowing. Okay. Now, I've mentioned this before, that in Eastern philosophy it works fabulous because the whole culture is built that way. In Western society, it doesn't work quite the same way. Okay, now I don't understand the north, south, east, west. Heck, I can look out the front window and not know which direction I'm facing except out the window. Okay, but the principle of setting things up so that your house is organized will stabilize the energy. Thereby, it will help you feel more relaxed, more energetic, and more capable of coping with the world. Okay, though, and this is just the fundamental basics of it. So you pick a spot in my living room, for instance. I'm going to be covering this one wall in a complete entertainment center. And what I mean by that is I've picked out a nice little TV stand that is capable of holding an 88-inch TV. Now, in all fairness, I do not require a TV that big. Okay, and I may only settle for a 78. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But I do know when I get that in the TV stand in, it will have room so I can put the TV in the middle and put the PS5 down on the outside where it can cool on, where it can stay cool. And then I've got the UFO that you've seen that's on my Facebook page, where I've got a hand carved UFO. Speaking of which, I gotta get back to translating that. And it will sit on the other side. Okay, this way I can have everything moving in the right direction for me. Okay, and I strongly recommend that you do the same thing. And what I mean by that is take a look at the layout of your living room. Make sure that it is comfortable, that it's not cluttered. You clear the clutter out of the room, and don't take my word for it. Give it a shot. See what happens. See how much more relaxed you are when you remove the clutter from just the living room. Okay. By doing that, you'll be able to function a whole lot easier. Okay, now I don't know if you have ever done this before. And you can look at it and go, no, moving the stuff won't make that big of a difference. And you may be right for you, but if you haven't done it, give it a shot. Okay. By reorganizing things, by eliminating things you're not content with, all you're left with is a life that you're very content with. Okay, and understand, if you move something and you don't like where it goes, put it back. It's easy to move it again. Okay, when you're told that change is difficult, every time somebody speaks to you, your ears and your brain have to change in order to interpret it. It's not painful, it's not scary, but it is counterproductive to view it as being difficult and scary. Okay, now where the living room is where I'm starting with, simply because that is the family unit. That is where the family does a lot of the discussions, where people have to get their communication lines up and running. Okay, so I'm eliminating all the stuff that is no longer functional for me. And I really strongly encourage you to do the same thing. If you're fighting depression or succumbing to it, you are likely to find that your house being cluttered is aggravating the situation. Okay. If you're fighting exhaustion, your energy is likely being depleted by the cross current of energy, by the clutter. Now, again, this is something that if you have not tidied the room up, do so and then assess whether it works. Okay. Now, I used to be a pack rat. This bookshelf over here, okay, I used to have wall to wall. It was jammed all the way to the ceiling with stuff I just didn't require. Okay, and the more stuff I get rid of that I don't require, the easier it is for me to cope. And I'm absolutely certain you'll find the same thing. Now, where it comes to, that's where the living room is. Make sure that you clear the clutter out so you don't have to stumble around in the dark. Okay, it's very easy from that standpoint, but I always encourage people, and I do this regularly. You put a list together. You can't read it there, but this is a very short list today. Okay, but here's the thing. By putting your goals on paper, 3 at a time, or more to the point, you start with 3. 15 minutes to half hours into a half hour in length. By doing that, you'll be able to focus on them, clear those tasks out of the way. When you get one cleared, check it off and add a third one to the bottom. This way, even at the end of the night, when you finally pack it in for the night, you've already got 3 things on the list to start the following morning. Okay, again, this helps you stay organized. By being organized, you'll find your energy level climbs, your depression, your sense of restriction will go away because you'll start seeing that you're actually getting things done. But here's the catch. You're the one that's going to have to do it. Nobody else in existence has the capacity to make your life better for you. That is your job. Absolutely talk to the people around you in order to get things organized, in order to get a handle on how you're doing it. But you talk to the ones that have done it successfully. Now, I cannot tell you from practical experience how to become a millionaire, but I can tell you how to make money work so that you can have the things like, if you look at what I went through, okay, listening to so-called professionals, I went bankrupt twice, and you'll love this. If you've ever been on the verge of bankruptcy, the first time I went bankrupt was on $6,000. Only 6. Now, how ludicrous does that have to be for a professional accountant, a professional bankruptcy trustee, to tell me at $6,000, go bankrupt? I was working full-time. Financial management would have worked. Okay. But they didn't do that for me. They told me go bankrupt. In my opinion, the only people that benefit from you going bankrupt is the bankruptcy trustee. Everybody else loses. Okay. So I went the first time at 6,000. This really set me back from an emotional standpoint. I felt I had failed. Okay, I absolutely felt like a failure. And of course, at the time I was living in what amounted to a warehouse. Okay, I'd have stacks of boxes here, I'd have stacks over there. These shelves were jammed wall to wall, edge to edge, front to back, top to bottom. I didn't have any room at all. Okay, this was the way I was living, and net result was, frankly, looking back on it, at the time I didn't see it. But looking back on it, that clutter was what was causing a lot of my problem. Now, the reason for that is that clutter it absolutely confuses the energy. Net result, you start feeling lost, confused, upset, the whole 9 yards. Okay. But you get the clutter out of the way, and all of a sudden your sense of get up and go, your sense of accomplishment comes back on track. Okay, as I did that, I started to find a different footing. Then, of course, I hadn't gotten it all straight. And I ended up running into another financial bind. This time, because my boss at the time bounced a paycheck, and the bank didn't tell me about it. Well, by the time I got anything sorted around, I was a whopping $14,000 in debt. Okay, that $14,000, right, is what I was guided by a professional to go bankrupt. Now, again, my self-esteem took an absolute dive because I felt I was failing completely. I couldn't keep track of where my money was, and I went through a lot of troubles. But where it really changed around was when I finally realized I've got to be happy with me. I don't have to do this the way other people tell me I do. I have to do it the way that works. And the only way to find a way that it works is talk to somebody that has successfully done it. Now, you remember I mentioned I had gone bankrupt at $6,000. Okay. Now, that was some 25 years ago. Well, I just paid. And this is why I'm kind of went that direction. I just paid off a $7,500 bill. Okay. In one real quick shot. But the sense of relief that I got when I cleared that debt was absolutely mind-boggling. Okay, all of a sudden I'm feeling like, wow, I've managed to accomplish this. I didn't have somebody hand me I didn't go out and get a loan so I could pay it, which is the way I've been dealing with things before. I held back, I paid attention to what I was doing, and I started clearing out the clutter in my house. My living room right now is about half full, and the reason I say that is because the other half of the furniture left. Okay, I'm going to be upgrading my living room now to what I desire it to look like, with the things I require. A brand new couch, a new entertainment center, a brand new TV because I desire it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be throwing the other stuff out. I will find people that can put it to use. The TV probably will end up in my office as a fourth monitor, like the current TV. Okay. I took the bookcases. They're in the back room now, handling my stuff in my bedroom. Okay. And it's an issue of changing the energy in the home. The living room, the dining room, my dining room right now has only 3 things in it. Now, of course, my dining room table is a little on the large side. My dining room table is 3.5 feet wide by 6 feet long. One piece, made back in the early 60s. 1962 to be exact. Well, actually, it was finished in 1963, which was the year I was born. So I've got that. I've got a couple of shelves in for my pantry, and that's it in my dining room because I've learned that having a whole pile of clutter, a whole pile of disjointed stuff in the house does not bring happiness. It does not bring peace of mind. It would be nice if it did, but it doesn't. Okay. So when we're talking about stabilizing the heart of the home, we're talking about the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. Those 3 rooms. And even in bachelor suites, those rooms are combined into what? Okay. But that is still the heart of the home. And it's going to be getting that straightened out that's going to help put things together. Now, the other thing that I found is find a way to really work with your brain. Okay. No, it's way over there. The more you use your brain, not the more you use a computer, the more you use this, the stronger your brain will get, the happier you're going to be because you're going to find you can actually think. Okay. Now, like I said, the only entity in existence that can be successful for you is you. Now, I can show you how to put your energy back together. Okay, and I can tell you, don't take my word for it. If you haven't done this already, if you haven't given it a shot, give it a shot. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't make you feel better, then absolutely let it go back to the way it was. I'm not the one to judge what's right for you. I'm the one to tell you that the path you're on, if you're not content, then it's time to take a look at the way your world is going. Take a look at what you're going through in life. Okay, ask yourself, are you content with the way your life is? Are you content with the way that you're being treated and the way you're treating other people? Can you honestly stand up and say, hey, I talk to these people in this fashion and I'm content with it. I would love it if people would talk to me like that. Okay. Personally, I can't. I am very reclusive. There's no question there. Okay. But I still take the time to talk to people decently. If you ever run into me in person, you'll find I talk the same way. Now, this said, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. do subscribe to the channel because we do have a lot of information we're working on. Yes, I end up repeating myself a fair amount because of one little detail. When you tell somebody something once, including myself, the odds are it doesn't stick the first time. But as you get used to it, when you start changing the way the energy in your house is running, you'll find that your emotions and that your mood stabilize, your emotions get better, and your focus tops out. Okay, where all of a sudden you can think on what you're aiming for. This is something that it does require the assistance of other people. So take the time to talk to other people. Get their input to it. Okay, the two most wasted commodities in existence that I'm aware of is the wisdom of the seniors and the enthusiasm of the youngsters. Okay, now yes, in all fairness, I rank up there amongst the middle-aged seniors, if you will. Okay, I'll be 59 in a month and a half, and I finally figured out the key to happiness. The key to happiness is not making everybody happy. The key to happiness is making you happy. That's where the key is. Okay, it's a critical point that you have to look at. And if you're not looking at it, you may find that you're walking down a very lonely road. Now, I absolutely encourage you, if you've got a religion, if you've got a coven that you go to, a temple, a church, stay going. Okay, that's where you'll find the brotherhood. Find people that you can relate to. But when you're done with that, I absolutely encourage you to join me on this journey of redirecting the energy in people's lives, yours included, in order to make this a better world for virtually every person. Okay, virtually every entity in existence. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort, but we can do it. Now, I would be absolutely remiss if I were to tell you I figured that everybody on this planet can work together, or more to the point, will. They certainly can, but I doubt very much many of them that some of them will get the message. However, if the majority of people are working towards this end, the others, especially the ones that are kind of vacillating back and forth, will get the message that these changes are beneficial. Now, with this in mind, I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.